Hi, and welcome back to Full Circle, where we try to go back down memory lane to return to our past to see how it affects the men that we've become today. With myself, Reuben, my peer Kelvin, and also Luca. And today, the topic of conversation is all things lockdown. So, Kelvin, Luca, I don't know who wants to go first, but how was lockdown? How was your lockdown? What did you think of lockdown?
Probably worst period of my life. What about you, Luca?
Definitely not the worst period. Just a really interesting period. It's like a really, really interesting. Wait, we're talking about both lockdowns, or are we talking about? Because there was two, right? So there was the one in winter, and then there was the one in from March to like July, August.
Wait, which winter one are you talking about?
I'd say lockdown as a whole still.
You say it as a whole, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, because one was really good, the other was really, really bad. So I say the one coming into summer when I didn't have to sit exams was great, because I didn't have to sit exams. And because it allowed me to do things to benefit myself, I could still go outside on bike rides, the sun was out.
Wait, what exams were these?
GCSEs. But the winter lockdown, terrible, because the sleeping pattern was messed up. That was when I just started at my college that I was really enjoying, and suddenly you're told you can't see anyone there, you can't go in for 2 months. The football season was going on for my team, I couldn't play. All the things that I loved doing just got taken away from me, except making music in my bedroom was still an option. But when I think of lockdown, I always think of the summer one, the one going into summer, ended in March. Because, I mean, for everyone, that was like, when you think that that actually happened, and you were actually told that everything's shut off, every shop, every gym, every pub, reality was no longer the reality we knew, so like...
Yeah, looking back on it...
crazy.
Looking back on it, it was a mad time, man. Honestly, I enjoyed lockdown. I can't lie.
You enjoy lockdown?
I actually enjoyed lockdown.
So people dying, you enjoyed it?
Bro, let's not be silly. No, but like, just obviously you hear about people's lockdown stories and people were made redundant and lost their jobs and homes and blah, blah, blah. And there was a mad fallout from lockdown. But for me, it was... I feel like I needed that standstill for me and my own, I feel like I needed a standstill. Number one, I was working from home anyway. So being home all day wasn't anything special. I could actually still do my job for the most part anyway. And then also having sickle cell, I was high risk. So I wasn't gonna be able to go out anyway. And just everyone being at home, I feel like it was just a time for a lot of reconnection on that part. So yeah, lockdown wasn't too heavy on me, to be honest. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, well, I was like working for like 3 years for these GCSEs to then be told like a day before, yeah, you're not doing them anymore.
That's crazy.
Not sitting them, done, do what you want. So initially I was like, is this actually happening? Like, there's been like, 50 years of people consecutively doing GCSEs. Me, I don't have to sit them now. And for me, I mean, really, a lot of my elevation came from lockdown, I think, because I still had access to this like studio gym I'd go to every day because I had nothing else to do. So physically, I became very fit in that aspect. I was quite skinny before. I'd always wanted to get bigger. It was something I was kind of insecure about in myself. Lockdown allowed me to have that time to work on that. Yeah. And I came out of lockdown feeling physically the best I ever have. in terms of music as well, like I would spend every day just in my room grinding on the laptop. That elevated my sound like crazy, and so those are the blessings to take from it. But you know, there are also things that did take a toll on my mental health a bit. Being at home. I mean, that's the main one, isn't it? Is being at home all day, every day. That's obviously going to take a toll.
I feel like that aspect affected a lot of people, like the whole mental health side of things. Like, people couldn't, you know, it was difficult to like go for runs or meet your friend in a park or, you know, just meet up with your friends, period.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people I personally knew a lot of people who were kind of trapped at home with like partners or just in situations that weren't supposed to be a lockdown type situation. So, yeah, it affected them negatively, but I don't know. You're saying it was the worst time of your life.
Yeah, I just come from a period of like leaving an unfulfilling job in search of like trying to find something more fulfilling, more purposeful.
Yeah.
And but whilst in that job search and looking for that next move, I already had cabin fever from being at home already. So just before starting lockdown, I had an offer from a really good company, some life-changing money. But as soon as lockdown came, the company had to liquidate. So for me, I had to go through that whole period of lockdown, just not being able to work, not being able to move, and still have an extended period of like just cabin fever. So to me, like, it's interesting because to me it felt like you guys were still able to like continue, kind of move forward and stuff like that. But for me, that whole period felt like some years of stagnation. And so it's like, once I'm trying to still, you know, get into the career that I want to get into, it's like, how do I do that if the whole world's at a standstill? And even then, how am I going to be once everything opens up? Because I've not had anything to do in that period to like even get myself back into the market like that. So I think I just went through a period of just living inside my head and living inside my room and just wondering like, what's going to happen next? By the time I get out, am I going to be okay? Am I even going to still pursue some of the things I wanted to? And so just living in my head to the point where it's just like, yeah, I feel myself getting sadder and sadder. And only sadder and sadder is like, I didn't realize that, oh, I'm actually getting sadder and I'm not even taking like the 5 minutes, you know, outside that the government's even giving. Yeah. I'm just stuck indoors to the point where you're not even moving. Yeah. You're just there. So that's why I look back at lockdown and I'm just like, yeah, rather forget it.
Yeah. So you feel like it brought out the worst in you?
The worst in me? It brought outside where I was just like, I didn't know I could be that. I've always been like quite cheerful, quite happy, quite, I would say, you know, when you think about life, you think, yeah, you're going to be fine kind of thing. But during that period, I was just like, yeah, you just can't see light at the end of the tunnel. So see myself really get to a state like that where I'm just really sad and just unmotivated with life. Yeah. I just feel like, yeah, I'd never seen that side to myself.
So how do you compare, because you said you had a period prior to lockdown where you was kind of experiencing cabin fever already.
Yeah.
How do you compare that period to lockdown?
At least with that period, you can sort of go outside. You can kind of do things to just, you know, get your mind off things. Yeah. But where you're in lockdown, well, I think that first heavy lockdown where it's just like you're confined to your own area, it just felt like, kind of felt like prison. It sounds like a mad thing to say, but like being told you can't go here, you can't do this, be in by 8 o'clock, that's it. And everything's at a standstill, so the football's at a standstill. And football, like, at that point was like my escape, innit? Kind of watch your team play football and you're thinking, cool, let's climb up the league and whatnot. But when the football's at a standstill and everything else is at a standstill, it's like, yeah, what else do I have in life to look forward to, if that makes sense. So, yeah, just having things to look forward to taken away from you just kind of feels like, yeah, what am I doing here?
Yeah, no, I hear that, man. Like, the whole choice of the whole situation is, I feel like that's effectively the foundation of the majority of problems that people face. Like, there's one thing being able to do it and just not doing it or not choosing not to, but once it's taken away from you, you're kind of just, as you said, you're just there, innit? So, I don't know. What was you lot's living conditions during lockdown? Because my living conditions was the same as it is now. I was there with my missus, just chilling. Like, and it was fine. It wasn't claustrophobic. It was just cool. It felt like it was... Obviously, we all didn't like not being able to go out and to go here and to go there and whatnot. But it was chill. It was us in the house, and we kind of could do stuff that we didn't do before because of work and schedules and those sort of things. So, yeah, my living situation was cool, but I know a lot of other people's was a bit more complex. So what was yours like?
Yeah, it was alright. Yeah, it was. I had the same living conditions I've always had. Nothing changed in lockdown really in that aspect. It did cause a lot of arguments with my dad, like just being around each other 24/7 is gonna bring about some arguments, and it did get lonely as well. I did get lonely during lockdown, I remember, and yeah, that's one of the other negatives. It was a lonely period, and I sort of at times lost touch with myself a bit because of that. But it's, to me, that's all just character building at the end of the day. So I see it as a long-term benefit.
I hear that.
But yeah, I think like
your living situation, is it the same as it is now, or?
No, so where I was like mainly living with family and now to having like my own space and stuff, it's different when you live with your family and you guys are all used to kind of just going out to work, whatever, come back late and just each having your own space to kind of do anything. But whereas now you spend a lot of time together, it's you start to pick up on things that actually annoy you and start to pick up on habits that can become quite irritable. And so dealing with people where you find things quite irritable and trying to talk about those things where you don't see eye to eye and stuff, it just kind of just makes you feel like, well, normally in that case, if we argue and stuff like that, I just go out. Or I'll just go do something else. Whereas now where you confined to the house, it's just like now you both got to sit in there. You both got to like be there and just deal with it. So there's just that no escape in that. And I'm not saying that like always bickering, always arguing, but it was just the point where it's just like we kind of live differently, if that makes sense. I like my space organized. I like things, in a particular way. Whereas when you live with people and you guys are all confined in one space, it's just like, yeah, they do things differently. And sometimes like there's a clash in that. So you just I just had to just like adjust and kind of not care in a way, just to kind of just forget like, yeah, this is lockdown still, so it's gonna happen for a hot minute. I was living like with my family at the time, so like my siblings as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like the clashing with family members or the people that you live with isn't new. Like, look, it wasn't a new thing that came with lockdown. It's just maybe the frequency or the way you was able to handle it was heavily impeded because of lockdown. Like, you couldn't leave and go for a walk to clear your head and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I definitely get that aspect. But did you have any vices as well?
I mean, my vice at the time was gym. So I tried to like, I really got into fitness pre-COVID. But once that stopped, I just tried as much as possible to like really, stay kind of fit, because that's the only thing kind of keeping me sane at the time. And so that was my advice at the time. But as time went on, I'd say like I was using social media mainly just to kind of keep me quite entertained, keep me informed. But I just feel like at that point, when you keep doing it every day, it's just like, am I going to do this every day? Like, it gets samey, it gets repetitive, and again, it falls in line with just kind of just my feeling of stagnation, where it's just like you wake up, you eat, do a couple press ups, social media, and then that's it. That's the repeat for the day, and so you start going crazy.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that definitely. It was a lot of time to not really structure it, if you could. Like, if you was kind of just, you know, progressing through the day without any sort of structure or routine or whatever, it's a lot of time to be doing that. So I understand that. But even with structure, it was such a long time that it can get samey as well. Me personally, I don't think I had any particular vices. Like, there's a few things that I kind of enjoy naturally. And I think lockdown just helps me to kind of just do those things a bit more. Like drawing, digital art, enjoy coding as well. So I kind of just had a lot of time to kind of really just devote my time and energy to that sort of stuff as well. So I don't know if it's a vice per se, like it helps me to, well, I guess maybe if that's, yeah, it depends how you term it or define it, but yeah, that's essentially what helped me to kind of get through lockdown. I had things that I enjoyed doing, like brushing up on my skills and also hobbies as well. Yeah, obviously with things like the football as well, all of that kind of came to a standstill. So yeah, I just had to entertain myself elsewhere, which I did. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. At that period, I felt unmotivated at that time. So me drawing, it just felt like, what are we drawing for? Like, this is not making any. It's not getting you any closer to like. Do you know what I mean?
What else could you do at that time?
What else could I have done?
Yeah, that's the thing.
There's nothing you could have done in it, but to me, it just felt like, oh my gosh, like.
Drawing's a step closer though.
To what?
To having some fulfillment.
Do you get that innate fulfillment from drawing though? Like,
yeah,
can you draw?
Yeah, once like I kind of know what I'm doing. Also, kind of have a direction of like, you know, where I'm going and stuff like that. But where at that point where you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, it's just like, yeah, what are we drawing for? What are we writing for? Like, what are we processing? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, you got to get your stuff together, kind of thing.
So, Kelvin, do you need something to work towards then? I just feel like you need to try something.
The way I've been wired is like, or you know, brought up is to, you always got to work towards something, and if you kind of don't, it kind of feels like you're just kind of walking aimlessly, and maybe that's okay for some people, but for me, it kind of helps me be a little bit grounded. It kind of helps me be a bit more intentional about my steps and where I want to go. Also gives me like a sense of like self, like, you know, I'm working towards this so I can become this, if that makes sense. So I don't know, do you guys need to feel like you need to, you know, always work towards something? Because you lot were happy just kind of drawing and making music. No, you want to be Picasso, innit? Like, you know, what about you? You was there producing?
To me, that was working towards something. Because that's what I realised was my passion from like a couple of years before lockdown started.
Oh, so lockdown helped you find that passion?
It helped me just enhance my abilities. Like, I came out of it and I was much better at what I was doing than before. And I know if it weren't for lockdown, I would have still been doing exams and stuff. Yeah.
Did you ever catch COVID?
No.
You never caught COVID? Did you take the jab?
I don't know anyone that caught COVID.
Okay, did you take the jab?
Actually, my dad got it, but he was like, I think, give it to me even. I did take the jab, I took all three of them.
All three of them?
Yeah.
There's built different.
Wait, there's 3 jabs?
think there's even more.
No, there was 3 still.
There's 2 and then there's a booster.
I took the
the
2 in it.
booster.
I only took it because like they were saying that
You can't fly out.
you can't go to certain events like without the jab, and I was like, nah, I'm not missing the WizKids. I have to take that jab. I'm being serious. That's the only reason I did it.
You're coerced.
Do you know, I was gonna do it anyway.
100%.
I was gonna do it anyway, but like I just didn't like doing the test. You know, you gotta like put the thing up your nose and stuff. I said, let me get the jab.
That's nasty.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I know you couldn't fly out, so that's the only reason why I took the jabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you ground yourself during that time, Reuben?
During
I
COVID,
know you were saying that.
yeah, but you had someone.
yeah, I wasn't lonely.
Exactly.
It was.
That's pattern. I felt like that's pattern.
No, but you had someone like me. I was lonely as hell. I was unemployed. Everyone getting on their life. I'm just here like, yo, this is peak. Like, end of lockdown.
You with your family?
Yeah, but like, even though like we don't have like that relationship like where we can, really talk about things and stuff like that. It's just kind of very like surface level type stuff. But
even still though, you can only parlay with your family for a certain point until you
like they're cool, but
What about you? At the time, it wasn't what you needed.
I don't know outside. That's where I want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the flip side, it's like if you're annoying, like if you're annoying me, like with the way we are in the house, then it's just like, I need my space.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I was cool. Like I had my missus there. It was a fun time. I can't even lie.
Did it strengthen your relationship?
Did it strengthen it? I don't know. We've been together for a very long time, so we was kind of just.
Yeah.
It was. I guess maybe it's just strengthened the connection between us.
Yeah, because some people they're like, oh yeah, it ruins.
Yeah, no, I would say I know. Yeah, bare people, their relationships just died during COVID. Sorry, but yeah, no, mine was cool, man. I had my missus, and I had my job as well. Albeit it was maybe in the second half of COVID, but yeah, man, I was cool. I was quite grounded. I was well grounded. I needed the time. Yeah, man, it was cool. I can't lie. COVID was cool for me still.
Sounds like you enjoyed it, and you enjoyed it because you had a purpose, and you did it. So
See, because this is what I was seeing. I was seeing everyone really enjoying that aspect of like kind of slowing down and just getting to do that, but I wanted to like actually progress. Do you know what I mean? So where a lot of people wanted the downtime, I didn't want to sit on my feet. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to sit on the sofas for so long. So that's why I felt like for me, like, yeah, I didn't see it the way you lot saw it in it. But that's cool though, like, because it's, do you know what I mean? Everyone's kind of different in that way.
So how did lockdown then, like, we kind of spoken, how would you say you were before and how you are now, like comparing, like before lockdown, how are you now? What major differences do you see?
The same. I don't think lockdown. I mean, in terms of me being different, as you say, before lockdown to after lockdown, I don't think I'm too different. I feel like I'm the same for the most part. I don't think. I mean, I knew people who died of it and how serious it could be, but I don't think it changed me too much. If anything, maybe it just made me, dislike the people in power more than I already did, which isn't really a change, is it? I didn't like them in the first place, so yeah. But
yeah, I think for me, I'll say the difference between myself pre-lockdown and post-lockdown is me realizing that I got a lot more empathy for people who kind of go through difficult situations. For me, I had a safety net of just still living with family and stuff like that. But at that stage, I had nothing to my name. So it's like, I'm thinking of people who, who are much older, don't have that safety net, have dependents. And I'm like, well, I'm ready to, do you know what I mean? I'm saying I'll pack it in, but do you know what I mean? I'm like, yo, you lot are going for some stuff. And I'm just here thinking, I'm just trying to make the next, step. But yeah, I've got a lot more empathy for them because I would say for that period, on the outside, I looked okay. So I was skipping, I was, doing my fitness and whatnot. But on the inside, it was very dark in there. So it's very hard for even for people to notice what you go through.
What type of thoughts do you have in that time? Because you're talking about it was dark. I feel like you're very different to the other two. So speak to how that time was for you. You kind of said it already.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I think dark in the sense that what is the point of living if your routine, your day looks the same for about a year and a half, kind of. And it's at some point, something's got to give. Do you know what I mean? And so that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like you're walking, but there's no end goal in sight. So it's you just get more and more tired each day. And you're just wondering to yourself,
tired of life?
Yeah, can I keep doing this? And where I said the difference between me pre-lockdown and post-lockdown is that I feel like there's a part of me that I just feel like it's just a bit missing, I would say, because of how difficult that period was. So even if I achieved my goal, which, I eventually got into the career that I wanted to get into within tech, but the stuff that I've had to go through during lockdown, it almost doesn't make it seem as sweet, if that makes sense. Great, I got it, but damn, I had to go through all of that to get to this period. So, I've won, but at what cost? I didn't lose anyone personally, but to me, it is difficult when you see yourself losing yourself in that period. Yeah. Because I know how I used to be, pre-lockdown. And when you see yourself losing yourself, you start thinking to yourself, damn, am I ever going to get back to how I was before, kind of thing?
And as that was happening, did you recognize that you were losing yourself?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't eating right. I didn't even look right. Yeah. Even what I was wearing, the tap went on. The tap went on. That's what I'm saying. It weren't even on. Oh. So to me, it's yo, I'm finished. The time I get, no one's gonna recognize me. So it's just I just gotta take a step back until I can make sense of all of this.
It's mad. It's mad.
Yeah, I hear all of that, and it's respectfully, obviously, I just can't relate. I enjoyed lockdown was actually a good period.
You had someone that loves you.
Yeah, but think about it. What if your girl weren't there? How would it have been then?
Well, okay, yeah, then obviously I wouldn't have enjoyed as much. That sounds dodgy, but still, it was still a reset. With or without her, for me and where I was at life at that point, it was still a reset.
Yeah.
So, and a welcome reset because, life was just very full speed before it. And it's even when you was hearing in the news of all of the stuff about, Wuhan and what's happening outside of the UK, it's it was just shit was just brewing, and then bam, we're gonna go into lockdown. And what was it?
I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I remember I got sick in the November period before they started locking things down. Yes, that happened before my birthday actually, when they started locking it down, and that's when I realized, it ain't getting better. My birthday locked down now, everything's locked down.
Yep.
And so I remember when I got COVID and I got sick, I was like, something ain't right. This ain't a cold.
Yeah.
This is deeper than a cold. It's something, but...
When did you get COVID?
I think it was in the November period, because I remember they locked it down in March. No, this is November before. And then, the year before.
Okay.
And so...
2019?
Yeah, I would say 2019. Everyone started getting it, and I'm like,
everyone started getting it.
Why is everyone getting it? Like, why am I getting it? This is weird. And when that happened, I was just like, and at that time I was doing fitness. Like, I put on some size, some muscle. Within 2 weeks, I promise you, I lost about like 7 kg. I dropped in the weight, like literally. So that's why I was like, yeah, this is weird. But then a couple months later, when I started seeing what's happening in the news, I was like, yeah, this must be it still.
Yeah, this is it.
What, do you know what you're gonna die?
No, not like that, but like, I think this is what everyone has, but it's looking peak over there kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Slowly.
So when they've locked it down, I was like, we're back in 2 weeks.
Nah. Yeah, that's it for months. Like, when I got COVID, I thought I was gonna die. Oh my gosh, I didn't get COVID until the October 2020, and so we was like dancing because my missus worked in the school. So remember all the what they called key workers. They still had to go to work, so she was to work back and forth, but she was fighting with them because she was like, my partner's high risk and I can't be in and out of the house like that. So that was a whole palaver. I think eventually she kind of got the time off anyway, and then obviously leading up to the summer holidays as well. So she was at home a lot more. But I didn't get it until the October. Obviously the schools had reopened in the September. She came and literally, I remember the conversation on the phone. She was at home because she had been ill. Yeah, she had been ill. She had COVID. So we was video calling, whatever. And she was like, babe, do this test. So I was like, okay, cool. Because I'd been doing the tests like routinely. So we were just talking. I think we were talking about nonsense. Some program we must have been watching. And I looked at the tests and I said, babe, how do you know if you got COVID? And she's like, what is it? The T or the C? I think there's a line on the T. I might be wrong, but there's a line on the T. She's like, you should get, I think 2 lines on both letters. It means COVID. She's like, you should have 2 lines. And I was like, and I'm looking at the test and they're showing me 2 lines. And I said, babe, are you sure it's 2 lines? She's like, yeah. And I said, because this is showing me 2 lines. And she's like, what? Let me see. Showed her on a video call. And she's like, no, it's 1 line, it's cool. And then literally like the dread on our faces because we had been trying to fight, like there was so much dancing happening around to make sure I don't get COVID because obviously being high risk. And then literally she started doing the test and then I think she had realized she had it again. And we had just seen each other because she had to collect some of her art stuff from my house. And literally that began probably the worst period of my life. Going into 2021, that year, it was just shocking. Everything kind of just went downhill from that anyway. But yeah, when I had COVID, it was just different. It just hit different. Like, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't walk. Like, I was just breathless all the time. I was weak all the time. I couldn't even sleep. Like, lying down was a myth. Sitting down with everything. It was bad.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know you had it. We didn't say earlier in the discussion if anyone actually had it, so.
Yeah, man. That was not nice.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that, like, how it would have felt, because I know, was that your muscles aching? Was it all just like your whole body just?
You're trying to sleep and you can't because you're lying on your back muscles and they hurt, like it burns. And then you try and lie on your side, but then you're lying on like your arm and then that hurts. Or lying on your belly. Not that people should be sleeping on their belly, but it just all hurts, man. It was painful.
I sleep on my belly.
You sleep on your belly?
Yeah, sometimes. But
Huh?
You sleep on your belly?
You sleep on your belly?
Yeah.
Do you?
yeah.
Do you enjoy the sleep?
Yeah, I love it.
On your belly?
Yeah.
Bro, that's not okay.
Why?
I'm a side sleeper still.
I can work with that, but I prefer the belly. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's like people told me it's a feeling that you've just never felt before in any illness. Like it hits you in ways that you've never encountered physically.
Well, I mean, my case, I don't know about that, but
even then, like
for it to be like a cold of sorts, yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty.
Yeah, like a cold that's really just attacking your muscles and making you ache. That's not like a common. So I mean, really, with that whole thing to me is just crazy how that it just really escalated and everything was just shut down. I remember actually when the second lockdown got announced, I was actually in bits.
Wait, was there a second lockdown?
Yeah.
There was two.
Yeah. And then after...
There was three.
It was three actually, yeah.
Then after...
Because I forgot it was the third one.
Yeah.
What, you lot, that...
Two significant
swear?
ones.
Fucking no.
The third one. There was a third one.
July, October to January, and then like March.
There was a couple still.
There was January to like March, April, right?
Really long one.
Yeah, but
summer.
the summer one, that was the opening one, and then there was a short one between...
It was Christmas.
Yeah.
And then there was also like March to June the next year.
Oh, okay.
I lose track of...
That was semi lockdown.
Yeah, it was like...
I think the Christmas one, New Year's, when I was told I can't go out on New Year's, that was one of the most depressing nights. Because like,
Because of 1 New Year's.
I like going out on New Year's.
But where was you gonna go? Because you
Going out on New Year's is mad.
Yeah, where
did
was you gonna go?
My friends, I have bare people around.
Oh, okay, like that type. I thought you...
What, at a house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, like, nah, I wasn't just gonna go out in the street and stuff.
Do you feel like lockdown helped you to grow as people, or do you feel like now, like, looking at life from where we are today?
Yeah.
I feel like lockdown, did it hinder me or did it, improve me as a person? I can't say. I find it hard to answer that because, again, I feel like the version of me that I was, I feel like I've lost like a piece of that. So I can't say whether...
Are you resentful of the fact that you lost that?
I'm not resentful. Well, I used to be because I used to try to feel like I had to control everything. But a lot of that was just out of my control. So I can't keep, trying to, blame myself for things I have no control over. So I don't know how to answer that one.
I think it goes both ways for me. Pause. Like, I feel like it made me lazy to what I'm not interested in. Because I had time to do the things that I actually enjoyed, I was more on it. But the stuff that I wasn't interested in, like...
What's the joke?
Yeah, wait.
It goes well, basically, the whispered pause, but they carried on.
Why did you say that?
Children! Oh my goodness.
Bro, it was too perfect, bro. I couldn't pass it up.
I still don't get it, personally. But I'll stay not getting it. Let's just swiftly move.
Yeah, but... Sorry. So... Having the time to actually work on the stuff that I'm interested in, that I would like to further, I had a lot more energy.
Why'd you go with that bar? Like,
I'm trying, bro. I need help. You lot just stop. Oh my gosh.
Lockdown helped me massively elevate. Like physically, I came out better than ever. With my music was better than ever. But social skills wise, they dropped massively. And I came into college and I forgot how to hold a conversation with new people because I was so used to seeing the same guys over the course of 5 months. I remember it, like I forgot how to socialize properly. And I also became very in on myself because of all the time I spent by myself, smoking, and that does make you go very in on yourself as a person. And it took me a while to, when I started college, to open up and be a bit more, let loose a bit more again, you know. And I feel like that was because of lockdown and spending so much time in my own thoughts by myself. Yeah, just I developed vices. I developed a lot of good vices, like gym, music, and bunning up. So for me, that's, you know, I've still got them to this day. So something's working, you know. It's but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it. I feel like it goes both ways, just in the sense of I can pinpoint why I'm worse and why I'm better. I'm better because I kind of reignited a drive for the things that I'm interested in. For example, like drawing, digital art, coding, the stuff that I generally enjoy. So I had more time for them. But it also made me...
So we've got it. Keep it.
It also...
Keep a pause, then carry on.
But also, I kind of got lazy towards the things that I'm not so interested in, and unfortunately, I kind of have to put up with that right now until I'm in a better position to dedicate more of my time going forward. So just in terms of that kind of laziness and lack of motivation for what I don't choose to do, I guess I'm worse for that, in that aspect anyway.
Yeah, it did. You know, it did make me a better cook.
Yeah.
Like I realized I didn't have to use like the same 2 ingredients like from before. Like I definitely became a way better cook. But I think it got for a period of time where it's just like we just kept going through this lockdown, and I just made like decisions to just, you know, level up and try to you know, get into, you know, the career that I wanted to get into. And I think what it defo gave me is a next level of like desire, hunger, because that's something I had to build back myself. Having gone through a period of where like I've lost that, I've had to build that back myself. And after achieving like, you know, a new career, new role, new opportunities and stuff like that, I just feel like I've now got like the template for like anything that I want to do now. I got to go back to that same sort of routine that I had before, where I was really showing myself some good discipline, showing up for myself, advocate for myself, really, you know, allow myself to go after the things that I really want. I don't know if that would have had it happen pre-COVID, but I know that for me, it kind of felt like a last chance at life to really like just go at it and be like real disciplined and, do you know what I mean, what I want to go for and stuff. So I guess in that aspect, I slightly improved, more desire. Do you know what I mean? I've got like a template for winning now, but I just didn't like what I had to go through in order to get that. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
So what was your full circle moment in that then?
Well, in lockdown, full circle moment in lockdown as a whole.
Yeah, because I think what you were saying about what you gained and what you needed. I mean, what lesson was in that?
The lesson that I learned was, I guess the main thing was that I need to remember what I enjoy and what makes me tick. Because before all of that, you know, I said previously, prior to lockdown, everything was very like 100 miles per hour, and it was for things that didn't always serve me. So lockdown kind of gave me the restart to just understand what I enjoy and what I want to do long term. So yeah, it's kind of just told me, you know, remember what you like and what you're good at. Yeah, and just try and, you know, create a situation where you can devote more time to that as well. But also, just one more thing. Lockdown was fine for me, but the job that I was working, so I was working as an employment advisor, and it was it was geared towards getting people back in employment who had been made redundant because of the pandemic. So although the pandemic was good for me, I was never out of touch with how serious it was. Because I had clients who had owned law firms and, you know, almost doctors, like people with doctorates and all that sort of stuff. And they're asking me for a job, and the jobs that I'm able to kind of give them is like TAs or catering assistants, that sort of stuff. But these people have to take the jobs because, you know, they've just had a baby and they've been let go. So they need money to pay their rent, and they're willing to kind of take everything. And some people saying that this person's in hospital when they've passed, but they still need to pay their rent, so they can't even grieve properly. And it was a mess. Like, lockdown was a mess. And I know it was good for me, but I was never out of touch with how messy it was for a lot of people. So it kind of just, I still kept the perspective, because whilst I'm enjoying lockdown at home, outside of work, when I'm logging into work, I'm seeing how serious and how destructive essentially it is for a lot of people as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say for myself, full circle moment, just understanding the mind is quite powerful and delicate at the same time. I've seen myself just at the whims of, you know, my negative thoughts. That got me to a place where I was just very unmotivated, didn't want to do anything, couldn't even leave my bed. But in that same breath, I've used that same mind to like will myself into winning, will myself into changing my life completely. And so I've almost gone from my mindset where it's like I'm complaining as to like, you know, why is this happening to me? You know, why is life happening the way it is? And gone from now, question it to saying like, you know, you don't have to accept this. Like, you don't have to let this continue. You can move forward if you really like decide today, like, yo, today's the day you want to do something about it. So it's weird. I'm a lot kinder to myself because of it now. So yeah, the minute I'm thinking certain things, I've got to like just dump it. Either I speak to someone quickly or just write and just try to not let myself live in my head, because whereas in before, yeah, I was just in a position where I'll take one step forward and then another 2 steps back, because you can just get to a period of just kind of just being quite negative and stuff like that. And it's quite hard to do for anyone in that position, but, you know, I commend anyone who can kind of get from that place. So, yeah.
I just put the work in and stuff, really. And, you know, I realised that was like, from before lockdown, I was very skinny. I wasn't very skinny. I had a bit of muscle, but I wasn't satisfied. Over lockdown, like, every day I was grinding in gym, and then I came out and I really realised, like, like, it is like that. You can just, if you put the work in, you can just get wham. Like, and it was evidently, that was the first time I noticed a body change in myself over the course of a period of time. And I was really proud of that. I was like, I never thought I could get this quick. Like, I was probably more wham then than I am now, to be honest, like, because I had nothing else to do then. But it taught me that, yeah, putting the work in something that you know you want to change in yourself, you can do it. You can, especially when it's fitness. Because that's all I can really speak on, because other things I can't, because I haven't experienced it. But fitness-wise, definitely. If this ever happens again, a lockdown thing, you know, anyone that wants to use that as a chance to get fit, that's the time. That was a vital time for me, and I'm glad I put the work in that time I did, in that aspect. But yeah, other than that, there's no lessons other than that, really.
Yeah, I feel like he's still spring chicken, do you know what I mean? Still young.
Yeah.
So I don't think I learned anything at that age anyway, so like, do you know what I mean? That's their life ever, man.
Yeah.
I was having a good time.
Like, I guess with you lot, it's like looking back at it. You're looking back at my time. I'm looking back at a time where I barely even developed thoughts. You know, if we're talking about looking back at your past self, like, yeah, I guess it's a much different comparison. You two have compared to me, like, looking back.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. Like, you are a spring chicken. We were still, what, 28, 27? During lockdown, so very different times. I don't think I would have taken lockdown seriously at that age. I barely took it seriously at my age. Thank you guys for this conversation. Obviously very insightful. Clearly we had different experiences of lockdowns.
Clearly.
But yeah, that brings it to a close.